I like that she's taking kind of the high road and kind of going back to that marketability of it all, right? I think that's really, really good for the sport and for them.
America loves to come to a white woman's defense. She ain't even asked for any of that.
Yeah.
And we got Angel getting called classless and all kind of things like that. She ain't asked for any of that.
Oh, that's what they said in the paper. There's some dark web pages that they called it a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense, your favorite barbershop style podcast. I am Tavares Ferguson, aka Ferg, joined my co-hosts Razi and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your minds.
I think I just got two things. First off, welcome Inspire You on Air listeners, all podcast listeners. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Appreciate you subscribing. Hey, tell like 3 to 5 more of your friends, family members to check us out. And hopefully they rock with us. But I got two things on my mind. One, we talked about this subject last week. There's an actor that's a part of a superhero franchise who has, allegations of abuse against them with future movies coming out. And Ezra Miller. Yeah, that's right. Not Jonathan Majors, Ezra Miller. Mm-hmm. That's right. The guy who choked a woman in Iceland. The guy who has been accused of grooming a 12-year-old who's now 18 years old, and they went missing for nearly a year. So it was rumored that he like kidnapped this kid and was grooming them and having an inappropriate relationship with them. He still has his roles as the Flash. So again, as I kind of hinted towards last week, in no way am I condoning whatsoever, not in the slightest, of what Jonathan Majors was accused of. But I am criticizing the coverage and how one is covered versus the other. Because, many people are speculating that Jonathan will get dropped if these allegations are proven true. Even if they're not proven true, some people are saying he may get dropped. Like I say, Ezra, who's had some weird behavior, he's still the Flash. So I just want to put that out there. And the other thing I want to put out there is, I see on social media a lot of shows trending like Snowfall, The Last of Us. A show to me, the best show that's not really, like I see some people mention it here and there, Bel Air.
Bel Air is good.
Bel Air is a good show. And season 2 might be better than season 1.
Did you just start watching it?
No. I watched it last year.
Okay.
And I think I like this season more because Carlton and Will are getting along. Mm-hmm. Season 1, spoiler alert, they have their differences. But this season, it's been cool to see them get along. And they've even had some misunderstandings and they worked through it as cousins. And it's just been really, like, for people who saying there are no positive black shows, and even this one got criticized by some because of some of the storylines in the show. To me, it's a realistic show. Even though they're extremely wealthy, they have some realistic problems that we all can relate to. It's a dope show, man.
And there's people going through that. It's real for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
What I love about the show is they do nods or tip of the hats to the original show. Like they don't follow the storyline exactly, but this character will pop up, this name will pop up, this little scene or something. You're like, aha,
yeah.
Even with the football game, I knew where they were going with it. With the last pass being thrown to Carlton, I was like, I know it's about to happen. Yeah. It's that basketball episode.
So it's so much so. I don't want to spoil any spoilers because it's good, really good. Even the family reunion, just because that whole dynamics with, sibling rivalry and all that stuff.
Yeah.
the grandmother being alone, like all those, so many black women are, you know, grandmothers are by themselves now, you know, they're out living men and, you know, all that stuff. So, I mean, I definitely can relate to it. Love the show, love the acting, the cast of characters, everything about the show. I was so happy.
To black culture and black history. I mean, the Red Tails and Tuskegee Airmen, you know, just things that you wouldn't think needed to be in there, right? Yeah. It's just so dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's somebody's family members, right? You know? I think the nod that, hey, there's still Tuskegee Airmen alive.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just one now. There's only one left now.
Yeah. Was that him for real?
Yeah, that was him. He's the last Tuskegee Airman left.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that. That makes that extra dope.
Yeah,
extra dope. Yeah, so,
you know what I mean? But I picked up on that, like just the very pro black, very pro, like it's just, but it's so many different that we're not a monolith. I think hits on that show so much, you know, even Jazz is one of my favorite characters. Jazz, Jeffrey, like these minor characters from the original series get so much play. There's still kind of a backstory or a B character or B characters, but they develop them so much more and they have so much more depth that like I rocked with Jazz.
I don't know who's my favorite character besides Will. It seems like Hillary has the storyline that has more lanes that they can use. Like, you know, Ashley, they kind of use her. They almost don't quite seem to know how to use her. They have her storyline. Yeah, Uncle Phil, but Hillary, like I say, after Will, she has probably the most interesting storyline to me in a way.
Yeah.
So it's been cool.
You got to think about Carlton and what he's going through, though. Like, you know, he has a lot of dynamic.
I almost combine his storyline with Will because they're like so many of their scenes are together. But you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but they were best friends. They were the stars of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like that they aren't trying to cram so much into a single episode that it feels like, and I think that's why you don't see a lot with Ashley is because they're not trying to cram way too much in there. Like she has some sprinkles in there and I think that it'll pay off in the long run and they'll kind of focus on her a little bit more later on. But I do think that they're doing a really good job of setting up for the future, but focusing on the episode and not trying to cram way too much and have too many things happen in each episode. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, everybody's had their moment. I mean, you think about Ashley season 1, and we're only at episode 3 or 4 of this season. So season 1, when she was battling or discovering her sexuality, right? That was a whole thing. I mean, that was like 2 or 3 episodes. I feel like they kind of hit on that, you know. So the season kind of started with her and nod to Tatiana Ali and stuff like that, but it's let everybody build up. And Ashley's only so old too. Like, how much drama do you want to put her in?
Yeah, I think what Razi said, like they set up the foundation as she gets older.
Yeah.
By the way, Bel Air has been already renewed for season 3, so if you haven't checked it out, check it out.
I was worried that after the whole Will thing, that might have.
Yeah, I saw people speculating that. I didn't think of it. I didn't think that though. Like he's not in it. I know he
executive produces it.
Yeah, like I again disagree with what he did. Not canceling him at all.
Yeah.
Speaking of canceling though, I know maybe shift gears. You know, everybody has their take on R. Kelly and his canceling him and his music and everything like that. But a court actually awarded one of his victims his royalties for all of his music. And so, Buff, you're one of the ones that's like canceled no matter what. Does that change a little bit of your perspective now that playing that music, none of that goes to R. Kelly? It either goes to the artists and everybody that helped produce it and everything, and the royalties go to the victims now.
Well, you definitely have softened my position over these episodes discussing him. Here's the most that I can give R. Kelly. He's on a song with Young Jeezy that I like, and he's on a song with Rick Ross that I like. That's about the most R. Kelly I'm gonna listen to, because for me, it's not just what he did. As I said before, when you listen to the lyrics of a lot of his more popular songs, he was rubbing what he was doing in our faces. You know, Seems Like You Ready. Having Aaliyah call her album Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, with him on that album cover staring at her in a distance. So I for me personally, I can't listen to a lot of his songs, if any, but I no longer knock people who do. And that's because so many of our celebrities have done so many, just terrible things, from Miles Davis to not Marvin Gaye, but James Brown. So, people just like what you like and enjoy the entertainment that artist brings.
Yep.
So, but no, I'm not seeking out. I'm not listening. I won't be playing like 12 Play or 12 Play 2 or 12 Play 3. Did he go up to 4?
Did he?
Did it stop at 3?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
All I remember is TP2.com, which was a great album. I'm just
Is that what TP2 stood for? 12 Play 2?
Yes.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
TP2?
Come on, dog.
I just thought about that. Like, I just put them together.
Learning
now.
something every day. Love it. I love it. Yeah. That's what that's the. I think 12 Play 3 was all the Trapped in the Closet songs or whatever.
Okay. So.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, that's what that was.
But talking about
some great music.
He did, bro. He did. Music, I mean, and that's the thing. I'm on that. I'm with you. I'm probably not gonna be like, oh yeah, throw on R. Kelly and let me hear his songs type thing. But if a DJ at one point, I was to the point where if it came on the radio, I'd change. Kind of what I talked about with Kanye. And at this point, if it comes on, if a DJ's playing it, I'm probably gonna rock to it. If Ignition comes on in the club, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm gonna rock to it now. At this point, it's like, man, okay, I'm good. So I think I'm towing that line a little bit with it. But along with the courts and talking about that, Gwyneth Paltrow, my universal white woman, white actress. So any white actress that I don't know what her name is, it's gonna be Gwyneth Paltrow. I just assume that's what her name is.
What? Oh, we've been doing that for years, bro. That's been the default for.
What?
I thought you knew that.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, like if I call Z in here right now and she's like, "Who's my default white actress?" It's definitely Gwyneth Paltrow. I didn't even know who she was. I didn't know that was her in.
I didn't know what she looked like until Iron Man. And somebody had to be like, that's Gwyneth Paltrow. And I was like, oh,
I think I was joking, and Z was like, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh man.
And then what was crazy is Scarlett Johansson became my secondary default white woman and white actress, and didn't know what she looked like either. I didn't know she was Black Widow. Like it was same.
You know the names, and they're so popular as a name. It was just like when they were like, the white actress, and I'll be like, Gwyneth Paltrow. Like I assumed everybody was Gwyneth Paltrow. It was like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So, talking about her legal actions. So, somebody was trying to sue her because they had a skiing accident, and they said that she caused the skiing accident, and so they tried to sue her for like $300,000 or something like that. And Gwyneth Paltrow countersued for $1. And she ended up winning. And so the only reason why she countersued was that she would get the $1, she would prove that it wasn't her fault, it was the other person's fault, and he had to pay her legal fees. So that's the only reason why she countersued. So she walks away with a full $1 plus the legal fees. And this person, that thought they were gonna kind of get over on her, and they ended up paying I think it was upwards of $700,000 in legal fees, just because they wanted to go after her. So shout out to her, man. That's what I'm talking about. When people come for you and you're right and you stand in it, and just make them pay. It's not about the money at that point. It really was just about clearing her name and everything else. So I'm happy to hear that she got through with that. That's all I got. And I'm sure, Ferg, you're going to talk about another little legal trouble that's happening right now.
What would that be? It is Wednesday, and Trump was arrested. He was indicted last week, since the last time we mentioned the show. And Tuesday showed up to court, was arrested, and had his day in, well, I won't even say his day in court. You know what I mean?
It was the indictment. They read
a day in court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the follow-up is December. Yeah, he pled not guilty. Follow-up's in December. A lot of people are saying it's a weak case. And we were talking about this right before we started, me and Byron, and I don't think it's a weak case. I think it's not flashy enough for people. It's not something that's like, oh my God, he killed somebody or something. It's like everybody wanted this really fancy, nice thing where it's tax evasion, right? It's tax fraud, and it's like that's not sexy. That's but the funny part is he admitted that he did it, and everybody is still like, why did they bring him up on charges? Like it's not illegal. Because
it's illegal.
Yeah,
but they want him to be. They want to make excuses for him. Like, he should be able to get away with that, you know. And the people who want him to be guilty want him to be guilty for something sexy. Like, it's like, you know, it's almost like the mob when they get arrested for tax evasion, but you want them to get arrested for, like, murder. Dude, you're the mob. This is how they're taking this.
Selling drugs, RICOing, like all this stuff, but you get them for tax evasion. That's exactly what's happening right now.
It's kind of like when Bill Clinton lied about Monica Lewinsky, and a lot of people was like, oh, okay, I understand that. Like, he paid Stormy Daniels. He allegedly paid Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet about his affair with her while his wife was pregnant. And people look at that as like, oh yeah, I wouldn't want that to get out either. I understand. Like, people understand it so much to where, so in addition to it not being sexy, the people who actually understand it are like, I get it. What's the big deal?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, but they don't understand the whole part about election law and tax fraud. Like, it's not that he paid her. If he had just wrote a check to her, it wouldn't have been illegal at that point. It would have been him just kind of keeping it. Well, it still would have been illegal because he was keeping it quiet to further his chances to be elected, which is election fraud. But with that, the tax fraud is he paid it through his lawyer and the companies to go to her, asked that it not be released. So that leads to it being election fraud and hush money. And it's like, it's illegal when the way he did it. It's not what he did. He could have paid her off to just shut up and go away, and it would have been fine. But the way he did it, it's illegal to do that. So for everybody thinking that it's not a big deal,
he may find himself facing two cases because Georgia may decide to indict as well.
Yeah. And he still has that case pending with Department of Justice about the secret or the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
So they're still looking at that. So that actually is the bigger case. And so, but I don't think the Justice Department is going to bring that up. I really don't think they're going to indict him on that. But that's just my call on that one.
This is either going to make him, and what's so crazy, if this was anybody else, this would completely tarnish their career. This might be the boost he needed to get reelected.
To get the nomination. I don't think he's gonna. It's not the boost for the general election, so it hurts him in the general. I think it helps him to get the nod.
I think he's primed to win the general. He's already like at least 20 points ahead of the nearest competitor on the Republican side in DeSantis in the latest poll. And like, we got to be honest with ourselves, or at least I'll put it out there because I hadn't heard anybody say this. The only reason Joe Biden won was because, one, Trump didn't handle COVID as seriously as he should have, and two, we mail-in ballots. We had like a special provision because of COVID to allow people, like, we had more votes than we've ever had because people were able to mail it. So unless they keep that in, if they don't keep it in, then we got to depend on those same people to show up, which may not happen. So he definitely has a great chance of winning the general again.
Yeah, especially those red states that have changed the laws to say we're not doing mail-in votes and all of that stuff.
And the fact that they just need something to galvanize on, and the fact that there's a witch hunt, a bigger witch hunt than ever. I mean, this is what brings his base out. I mean, somebody called him Jesus, right? Did somebody just kind of compare him to
Marjorie Taylor Greene compared him to
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
did she? Okay.
Yeah, she said he was. She said he's being persecuted just like Jesus and Gandhi.
Yeah, that's those. Jesus, Gandhi, and Martin Luther King are usually the names they go with.
And now Trump.
Also, I think some of those states changed their Secretary of States too to put people that will find the 3,000 votes that he needs for their state.
Those 3,000 votes already sitting in the back room right now.
Yeah, it's very dangerous, man. Very.
Alrighty, so yeah, Trump has officially started. We're on step 2 with the indictment. So he showed up, has another court date. We'll see how this turns out. Stay tuned. That's all I can tell you. It's a little late. What's going on with Sophie?
Yeah, she's here somewhere. Let me go find her.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
You got your bonnet on today?
Yeah.
Okay. You got your hair did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it on Sunday. She took her braids out.
I helped.
Yeah. So any of the ladies out there that have to take down braids, shout out to y'all, because woo boy, that is a process.
He can't even do the look.
I thought you was about to volunteer to take down women's braids.
I know,
bro.
right?
That's
I thought he was about to hit a Suge Knight on us. Any ladies out there
that need it? Yeah. Y'all can come sit between my legs. I'll help you take them down while What's It Gonna Be plays on the radio like a 90s movie theater. Like, yeah, all that.
What?
What's it gonna be?
Sophie, exactly. We're gonna edit this out, Sophie. Don't worry.
You guys are the editors. He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna edit that out.
He needs to.
She knows you.
All right, Sophie, you got a joke for us? I'm feeling lucky.
Okay. I bought some expensive laxatives from my pharmacy. They gave me a good run for my money.
I'm sure they did.
I didn't buy them. He did. He bought them.
Hilarious.
Good joke.
Good joke. We missed you last week. Your daddy actually had a good joke last week.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you sound just as surprised as we were.
No, I'm surprised that they actually agreed that it was a good joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was his top 3. I mean, it was a for him. He's no Sophie, but for him it was a good joke.
Whatever. So you got your queued up for next week too.
Yeah.
All right, Sophie. I love you. Talk to you later, big girl.
You.
Bye
Bye.
That song in my head now. What's it gonna be?
Yeah, it goes hard.
Welcome back to Three Brothers No Sense, your favorite barbershop style podcast. To all our listeners, once again, when you hear the questions, we hear the questions. We shoot from the dome. shoot from the hip. Let's go ahead and get into it, fellas. Who's up first?
Is it you?
I can go. I actually got one. Yeah, I got one. So, because as we get older and we start thinking back on the hobbies that we have and what we've done, and Ferg, you called me earlier talking about like video games and stuff like that. I want to know what's something or a hobby or something that you never really got into, but you kind of look back and you're like, wish I would have got into that, or maybe that's something that I want to get into in the future or something like that.
Because of my love for like especially the Infinity Stone, I think in the comic books it's called the Infinity Stone Saga, and in the MCU it's called just the Infinity Saga. Either way, because of my love for that storyline and a lot of the Batman storylines, I look back and wish that I had been more into comics, because I could not stand comics when I was a kid. I thought it was so goddamn stupid. But I think these modern movies have made it to where they're not so cheesy. That's the other thing too. Like, the movies used to be so cheesy to me, man. Like just a bunch of villains with like I think the Dark Knight trilogy really turned it around for me. Even though people look back on the Fox version of X-Men as terrible, it had like a seriousness to it, especially with Wolverine, that I liked. And that's what drew me in. As opposed to the cartoons, a lot of times they were, I guess because they were cartoons, they were cartoony. But then when it translated into the movies and they also were cartoony, it just always turned me off. But I think it would have been cool, because I got so into it, like Razi, a couple of times I was asking, which comic should I get? It got a couple of times I was like buying comic books and like reading them, and some of them were like really good. So I think it would have been cool to like be into that, because they have some really good storylines, and just to learn what Stan Lee did. Like, take a character like Black Panther. Like, this dude came in with this character, was it the 70s?
70s, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, to come up with that, man, and not have white people just like revolt over that. But
they did. That's the funny part.
But he didn't give a, like, he stuck with it. So,
yeah. No, I got to tell you a story about Black Panther though. So when talk about that revolt, when he brought him up and he didn't have a whole lot of white people in the comic book, and so the publishers were like, hey, you got to put more white people in the comic book. So the next issue of Black Panther took on the KKK. So he had him fight.
See, like, that is hilarious to me. I'm sure it was like, not those kind of white people. Yeah, man. Like, the superheroes that I knew about growing up, like, okay, Superman, okay, got it, but he's kind of like, I'm not gonna call him lame, but he's like just such a,
he's lame.
He's one dimensional. He's like just this good, perfect character, Captain America. Good, perfect
he's Russell Wilson.
No.
I mean, you got to think about it. Like he is the quintessential. Like that's what Russell Wilson gives off, right? Like.
So, I'll just wrap it up with that, though. Yeah, man. I wish I was a little more into that, because it's some interesting storylines, and there, like you posted a YouTube about, what was it, Blue Beetle? Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many characters that I've never even heard of. Like, it's this vast world that I never even knew about.
So I got two follow-up questions for you then. Well, one follow-up question, and I guess it is a question. So have you watched any of the DC cartoons on HBO Max?
I watched some. I watched Vixen. I've watched a lot of the Batman ones that they have on there.
Yeah. Go look. Go watch.
And Justice League. A lot of the Justice League.
Young Justice is pretty dope.
And stuff. Young Justice is really good.
That was like me and Jasmine's show for a while. Like, we was watching that for a minute.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Yeah, Titans and Young Justice and all that, man. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Young Justice. All the Young Justice, actually, DC does have a way of kind of hitting on a lot of social issues, especially like the last season or two of Young Justice. So the Justice League, they got multiple Justice League spinoffs, but the movies I've been watching, I watched several of the movies lately, and it's made me appreciate more of the other characters. You know, like I've always kind of been iffy about Green Lanterns, but I'm a fan of Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really good. So my question to you, Buff, who is your favorite comic book character, and who would you like to see make a movie that hasn't made a movie yet? That's more than anything.
I've always felt like Marvel, the MCU, should do a Thanos series. Because I read the book. Thanos, the MCU version of Thanos. And like it goes all the way back to when he was born, and his mother and his father and everything that he went through. The book takes you all the way up until he gets the very first Infinity Stone, I believe. And so I think there's so much material there. Like we saw him in Endgame and Infinity War, but there's so much material there that they could make they have Captain America and the Winter Soldier. They have WandaVision. I think that could be a really, really, really dope Disney Plus series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that storyline is really good. So
yeah, because like he didn't even like fighting at first. You know what I mean? So it's just, it was cool to watch that journey.
Yeah.
Well, read that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how he ended up ultimately being manipulated into becoming what he was. It's like it does soften a little bit of how bad he is. So yeah, it's really good.
He's just a little evil.
Oh, wow. Such an inside joke. Nice. Well done, sir.
It's a parasite boy.
Or the rent-free nigga. Oh, man.
So, if you're looking for a new movie that came out with DC, the Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons. So it's Robin and Superboy. And it's really good. It just came out, so it's on HBO Max right now. So check that one out.
Oh,
which Robin?
It's Damian. So and a lot of people hate Damian. Yeah, but Damian is actually he's really interesting now.
He's crazy.
Yeah,
he about that life.
Yeah,
he about that life. All right, for me, mine is not as cool as Buff, but to no surprise, you know, I like music. I wish I would have learned how to play an instrument. And out of all the instruments, guess what instrument I want to learn how to play?
The flute.
Sax.
Good guess.
Bass guitar.
Close.
I definitely could see that.
The acoustic guitar. I'm too I want to be able to just throw it over my shoulder, just be playing in a park randomly.
Fam, I got Ferg wearing a fedora. Walking up in a jazz club and shit.
No, man. I'll be more bohemian. You know, like I can see myself sitting in a park just playing, or just open mic night, just take my guitar in there out the case, don't plug it in, nothing, just, nice little light, sing a couple of ballads
shanty,
here.
Little shanty, sea shanty, and
like just tap on the guitar, just vibe out. There's something cool about acoustic guitar. I got one right over here. I just never learned how to play it, so I still got time. But I think that's one of the biggest ones. I just felt like that because I really don't have, and this is crazy, and if somebody's like, okay, we're gonna put on a talent show tonight, it's like, what's your talent? I'm like, I got nothing. If we put on a Three Brothers talent show, what are you showing up with? Razi, you might be able to pull out your trumpet,
You still got the skills?
I can still play a couple songs. Yeah.
Even if he doesn't, if he plays Three Blind Mice, he got me beat right now. I don't know what my talent is.
You can sing though, bruh. You can do a show tune.
Yeah, I can. I'm not a soloist, but I can hold a note. I guess that is it.
Yeah, I mean, what were you? You were in Greece, weren't you? Like, what's his name?
No, we're not bringing up old stuff. No, we're not bringing up old stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. So,
yeah.
For me,
what about you?
It's and this is coming from me. This might sound super out there, but I actually wanted to rap. So
but our evil friends wouldn't let us rap.
They wouldn't let us rap because they said we couldn't rap. So
I don't think I knew that. I didn't know you was Sherman.
No. So for me, y'all remember the story of it was actually Marquise. We were at, I think it was Marquise or Melvin house, and we were all there and we were writing. And I spit a verse, and Marquise turned on Rapper's Delight, and he was like, "Bro, that's the most rudimentary rhymes ever." And it discouraged me to the point where I like never rapped again. I really wanted to show off my skills. Yeah. And I have done like some open mic poetry slam type thing. So I've written like poetry and verses and stuff. But I never felt or had the confidence to put it on a beat and really kind of get into a flow. So I just left it to spoken word versus rhymes. But that was my kind of, I wanted to get in, and I wanted to be a part of SWAT. So that's how I ended up being the manager, because I was like, so they won't let me rap, but I can be involved at some point.
I was gonna be the hype man. But y'all see, we were advanced, bruh.
No,
we could have been the Drakes.
Yeah, it was fine.
All of that,
Yeah, I just looked at myself. I was like, all right, I'll just be Diddy.
A certified lover boy. I would have been certified lover boy back in the day. You know, but I wasn't talking about the street life, but
maybe that was it. Yeah, it just did.
So Marquise was he was the Chris Rock to your Marlon Wayans.
Exactly. 20 years later.
And to no surprise, are you surprised Sherman shut me down?
No,
I'm not.
Yeah, Sherman you spoiled my dream.
He was very, very good at that rapidy rap.
Yeah. Sherman is a quintessential creative, though. I mean, when you think about the books and the rhymes and the rapping and the poetry, because he wrote poetry too, all of that. He's a creative man. I mean, on a different level from a lot of people.
Very true. Yep.
So,
good question, man.
Thanks,
good question.
Oh man, that was a good one. So, what was mine then? So, I had a conversation recently, and it was about obligations. We're at the age, we're all providers, protectors for our families, and we do whatever we can to make sure they're happy and safe and all that stuff. And my question was around how do you balance the obligation to provide and protect versus for others versus the obligation for yourself. At the end of the day, I think we're all working hard to provide a life and a future for our family. We all have goals and stuff like that. But I'll speak for me. Sometimes I think about man, I'm working myself. I'm putting so much stress on myself that I will accomplish a lot of these financial goals and other goals. But, I won't be around. I might not be around to see it because I didn't work myself to death. You do all this, will you be around? And so how do you manage that? How do you prioritize yourself as well?
I actually think it's a constant battle, bro. I think it's something that you always need to try your best to be mindful of and try to find that balance, because there's always an upcoming challenge, so to speak. Because like you talked about, it's pretty much providing and taking care of others versus making sure you're taking care of yourself. There are always things that need to be taken care of that affects your family and those that you love. And you always need to make sure that you are overall taking care of yourself. So, whatever's going on, like say for instance, I don't know, a big vacation coming up and stuff that's going to cost a lot of money, but your family is really looking forward to it. You need to work overtime to, take care of all the expenses. You got to make sure you're not wearing yourself out to where you're no good on a day-to-day basis at home. It's a constant battle, man. I don't think we ever fully master it. I mean, I guess in a way you can fully master it, but I think it's something you always have to be mindful of, no matter how well you master it. You always got to make sure you're taking care of yourself at the same time, making sure your family's taken care of as well.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at, especially, that's a good example. Also look at long term. Like, I'm saving, investing, and doing things. So, if the kids want to go to college, if you want to set them up when they graduate from college, they want to, Jasmine wants to get married. Are you putting money down on the wedding? Are you helping her get her first house? Are you setting her up? What are the things that you have, the legacy you're building, so her life is that much easier?
She only gets one.
Yeah. But even that, putting that money aside, like how are you, working towards that goal and doing those things? How much extra strain does that put on you, right? So those are things I always consider, wanting my kids to be in a better situation than I was. And so they don't have to go through a lot of the challenges that I did. So,
yeah. It's like Buff said, it's a constant battle to put yourself first. I'm like one of the worst people about it, right? You guys have called me out about it. Like, put yourself first. You got to do for you. And one of the beautiful things that you guys have, and I always talked about Jen saved my life and everything. And I think that a little bit of that was my spouse took care of that for me. Like, she was the one that made sure I took the time off and I didn't work myself to death, and I used all my vacation, and I planned fun getaways and places that the phone wouldn't really work, and we can go on hikes and all of that stuff. Like, she, I used to always tell people, my wife plans my social calendar, and I was dead serious about that, and it was because I knew I wouldn't do it. Like, and I see it now, right? Like, I won't do it. I won't plan social events. I won't plan to go out. I won't plan to go have fun. And so I always depended on her to do that. And so for me now, I have to consciously think about, what am I doing for myself? How am I, not stressing myself out? How to manage my calendar, not put too much on it. And it's definitely a constant struggle. I have to start seeing myself like, I'm getting tired, I'm getting annoyed, I'm starting to get snippy with the kids. What do I need to take off the plate, right? When they start saying, what are we doing this weekend? And some weekends I have to say, I'm not doing anything. We aren't doing anything. Y'all can go out in the backyard and play if y'all want to, but I am not going anywhere. And so it's that balance of working yourself to death, stretching yourself thin, trying to hit all your goals and feel, fulfilled in life and be on social projects and all of that stuff. And sometimes it's just, it gets overwhelming, and you just got to be able to notice that, identify it, and then ratchet back and pull back and say, I need a day off. I need a me day, right? I need to call in sick and just take a day sometimes. And sometimes that's what you need. And feeling comfortable taking it. And having to tell yourself constantly, it's okay to take those days, right? Your company gives you these sick days for a reason. You hear that all the time, but that really is what they give them to you for. Take them, right? Take your vacation days. You shouldn't be, if you can't hit your goals for your job while you take your vacation, then your goals are probably too high, and you got to feel comfortable. And that's really, really hard for like somebody in sales or somebody that's an overperformer to say, I'm going to take this vacation, and if I hit 80% of my goals and I still took my vacation, meh. Right? Because you want to hit your goals, and you want to get promoted, and you want to do all that stuff. And that's the balance in that, right? So that's the real hard part about it, is not overperforming and not doing everything you need to do to hit the 100% or 120% of everything. And then you're so tired because you can't actually use the money or whatever. So, you know, finding a comfort zone wherever that is, if it's an 80%, 90%, and saying, if I hit that, I'm good, right? And I use my vacation, versus I got to hit the 110%. And that way you can kind of find that balance in it. So, because I see a lot of the stress comes from work for a lot of people, right? And if it's not work, it's all the other social things you do, but most of it is work when you talk about that balance. And so just kind of thinking about it like that I'm going to take my vacation, and then I'm going to do as much as I can to get to my 100%. Not, I'm going to do as much as I can to get to my 100%, and I'll get my vacation if I can.
When you use the word vacation, you have to be very direct, or, you know, how you use that, because we did spring break a couple of weeks ago. I needed a full vacation from spring break.
Yep.
You know, driving the kids around, you know, hitting multiple, you know, places and doing all this stuff. I was drained by the time I got back from spring break. And we did 2 spring breaks, because my wife's a teacher, and I did a miniature spring break with her, and did another mini with the kids. And I mean, essentially 2 spring breaks driving around, you know, Texas back and forth over the course of a week was pretty draining. But, you know, you guys are both hit on that balance. I think that's the challenge. And I'm very transparent about me in therapy. One of the things I've talked to my therapist about, and he brought to my attention, is recalibrating that balance too, right? Because this worked 3 years ago. You found this balance 3 years ago. You know, for one, we're older, you know, just age, you know, stress, whatever. But now your kids, I had 2 kids 3 years ago, but now the demand with 2 kids is a little different. My job is a little more demanding, you know, so now saying, oh, I'm able to do all these things, and it's like, okay, let me recalibrate. You know, now my kids are in these sports and these activities and all that stuff, because my fear, and it's on multiple levels, is I want to create a life where my kids can participate in numerous things and activities and stuff like that. But I also, and this is maybe me being selfish, or me just work getting the best of me, I also don't want to be one of those people where my entire weekend is cannibalized by my kids' events. Where, you know, I'm working Monday through Friday, I get off Friday, and we're heading to a soccer tournament in Beaumont. And we're spending the whole weekend in Beaumont. And I do this every day for every weekend on some level for 10, 15 years, you know, and we need those weekends. I need that time to unwind. I need that time. But it's like, am I being selfish because now I'm like, oh, yeah, like, we ain't about to do all that. Like, I need my weekend. You know, if they're doing taekwondo on Thursday, bowling on Wednesday, you know, this, like, you might have one day to your week where you have a random event to yourself. Where 4 or 5 days out of the week, you're working 5 days a week. And then the 4 or 5 days of the week, you're doing other events for other people, because at a certain point we just become our kids' chauffeurs. And I worry about that. Like, am I going to be that parent that's always gone? I'm going to be that parent that's telling my kids no. You know, is that selfish of me to say I don't want to do those things? You know,
it's not.
And so I fight that battle.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, you have to set those limits. I mean, there's a big difference of saying you can't do anything and you can't do everything, right? It's literally, I've told my kids, pick one. You're not doing them all. So which one do you want to do, right? Or no, we're not doing travel ball because you're not committed enough, or I don't see that you're trying to, I'm going to the league and so I need to be in travel ball and this, that, and the other. That's very, very different than I'm just in rec league. Like, The farthest I'm going is about 20 minutes down the street if on a Saturday for an hour. And then after that, we're coming back home and I got the rest of the weekend, right? So it's very different than being in an AAU or a travel ball where, like you said, you got to drive 3 hours because you got a tournament or whatever every weekend and that type of stuff. It's definitely not selfish to be able to say, no, we're not doing all of that. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let you play sports. You can go outside and play. You can play in the neighborhood or whatever. I think that's totally fine, to kind of set those boundaries and give as much as you can, but at the same time, give them what they need. I mean, it's a big difference of what they need and what they want.
I just want to put out there too, self-care doesn't always have to cost money. Like Razio said, he tells his kids sometimes we're going to just do nothing. Self-care can simply just be taking a day off work, staying home, doing nothing at all. Like, you don't always have to. I know a lot of times self-care is like taking yourself to dinner and a spa or whatever. Sometimes it could be just chilling at home, catching up on your shows. So don't always think you got to spend money for self-care.
Yep. And not feeling guilty about it, because a lot of times when people do that, in the back of their head the whole day, it's like, oh man, I feel guilty about taking the day off, or I should be checking my emails, or man, what am I missing? And that fear of missing out. So you got FOMO and all of that. It's like, just zone out and get out of having to be constantly connected to the rest of the world. Right. And that's why people go camping. That's why people go hiking. Sometimes people will say, I'm taking a bubble day and I'm not going to talk to anybody else. And that's okay. And letting your friends know that, and giving your friends that space too, to do that, especially if you're one of those clingy, needy friends that's like, I got to talk, or your girlfriend or boyfriend that's like, I got to talk to you every day. Sometimes people just need a day, and give them that day, and and be able to communicate with your other counterparts to say, hey, I need a day. I'm taking a day. I'm off duty, right? Telling your wife, your spouse, or whoever, hey, I'm off duty today. I just need a day, right? I might be in the house, but I'm not here. Because I'll tell my kids all the time, I'm off daddy duty. I ain't daddy right now. So y'all on y'all own, y'all raise yourselves, cook some ramen noodles. I don't care. Next 4 or 5 hours, don't bother me. Like, I just have to tell them that sometimes, because it's like, if not, when you do come to me, I'm gonna snap on you. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be angry, or I'm gonna sound angry, and I don't mean to. So I just need this little bit of time, and they kind of get the boundaries, right? Or even if they want to be up under me, like Ollie will come and just sit up under me but not say anything. He's like, I'm just here, but boom, I got my iPad. I ain't bothering you, but I'm just up under you. And so we both can kind of get that quiet time, that alone time, but at the same time, he if he wants to be up under me, that's cool. So set the boundaries, even in the house.
Well, fellas, we had some great conversations today. I mean, I think it's time. What are your thoughts about just wrapping it up for today?
Let's do it, man. I didn't have a question, but I got a lot of talk time, man. So I'm good.
Well, Buff, we're going to start with you next week. How about that?
That works.
Better yet, why don't you go ahead and kick it off for us?
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day. And that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This episode is brought to you by Nerds Gummy Clusters, the sweet treat that always elevates the vibe. With a sweet gummy surrounded with tangy, crunchy nerds, every bite of Nerds Gummy Clusters brings you a whole new world of flavor. Whether it's game night, on the way to a concert, or kicking back with your crew, unleash your senses with Nerds Gummy Clusters.
All I got, man, is first off, I enjoyed talking about Bel Air at the top of the show. That was dope, by the way. But all I got is one. I was listening to our previous episode, last couple episodes, and I noticed the amount of commercials we have now. I just want to let the listeners know we don't control that. Okay, so we don't pick how many ads or whatever like that. That's a Spotify thing. Am I right, Razi? Or is that you, Razi?
That's me. That's me programming. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I take that back. Blame Razi. But it does speak to. But be happy for us. It does speak to our growth that we have. Real commercials. Man. Yeah, exactly. Real commercials. So, and that goes to show you how we don't rehearse this show. see how I just spoke on that? But no, seriously, it speaks to our growth, man. So I hope you guys are happy for us. And when I'm listening to the show, sometimes I barely even notice the commercial. Like they just flow in and then it picks back up. So hopefully they're not annoying you too much, and that you're happy that we're continuing to grow. Other thing I wanted to say is, I want to start briefing you guys politically here and there when I can. And one of the big things that the Senate worked on before they went on recess was repealing the Iraq war authorization of 93 and 2003. But basically what it is they have officially ended the Iraq war, and they also, it's a move to get their war powers back. Because, when we went to war in Iraq in 2003, they kind of unilaterally gave the president all the powers that Congress normally has as far as declaring war. So this is an attempt for them to get those powers back so that future presidents have to come to them whenever they want to go to war. And it was bipartisan. It passed by a vote of 66-30. So we'll see what the House does with it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Biden administration has said that they will sign it if it comes to his desk. So that's what your Congress and Senate has been working on.
Nice. That's actually a good thing. I was really worried about that whole just giving it away. And I think when they did that, I posted something from Star Wars where the New Republic started, and it was just like that. That's literally what they did in Star Wars. Was they gave the Emperor, all the war powers, and then he's like, "Welcome to the New Galactic Empire," and it's exactly what happened. So I'm glad they're trying to bring that back.
What's funny is whenever you saw candidates run for president after Bush, from Obama and everybody who ran against him to Trump and everybody that ran against him, they always criticized that. But then once they became president, they was like, I don't know if I want to give that up. I think I'm going to hold on to it a little bit. Because they tried to do this when Obama was president. He was like, huh? So when y'all try to get, I'll talk to y'all later about that.
And I think that was a true fear when Trump was president.
Yeah.
I mean, those first like 90 days, let's take it back a moment. Those first 90 days of Trump, people just thought like, this nigga about to start a war. Like that was a real concern. Like, I feel like, who was he beefing with at first? Did he get into it with Putin initially? Or
nah, he always loved Putin.
He was somebody that,
was it Syria?
Yeah, Syria is like the only country that he sent that one bomb. Mm-hmm. But that's the one thing that you can say about it. He didn't really get into any wars. He's definitely anti-war.
Yeah, but I mean, people thought, because he did something, like he was talking reckless to somebody. Like
China?
Off rip.
China?
I think that's what it was. And we were like, nigga, we about to go to war with China.
Mm-hmm.
And have this dude as the commander-in-chief. This ain't about to end well.
He's kind of talking greasy to North Korea, too, before him and Kim Jong reached an understanding.
Yeah. Oh, you crazy? I'm crazy, too. Yeah, that was crazy. Well, I've been hitting on Black Girl Magic a lot lately.
Let me finish up before you. Yeah, no, you're good. The only thing I had actually was to shout out to Monique, man. She, got her Netflix special that she's been suing for the last 4 or 5 years or whatever it was. She secured the bag finally. So I don't know if what she did worked or she finally worked out a deal or whatever, but shout out to her for kind of, I guess, knowing her worth, in quotes. Yeah, you guys on the radio can't see my quote fingers, but knowing her worth and getting the deal eventually. So she held out, she got the deal she liked, and, she got a special. I haven't watched it yet. I've heard mixed reviews, but I'll probably give it a go this weekend and see how it goes and see if it's good or not. But shout out to her for actually getting the deal, though. Bert, your look.
I'm not with Monique.
Okay. I hope you're about to talk about somebody that we haven't mentioned at all. Let's see who you talk about, because I
don't think mine was not.
Are we talking about LSU and Caitlin?
Yeah.
Oh man,
we went the whole show and they mentioned Angel Reese.
Oh God,
what the hell is wrong with us?
Oh Lord! Shout out to the Louisiana State University ladies basketball team, the 2023 NCAA champs.
Hey, give my girl, what's the last name? Jasmine. What was the last name?
Reese.
No, not Angel.
Oh, Angel Reese.
Jasmine.
Oh, the one that came off the bench that
Yeah.
They dropped like 30 points.
She was averaging 11 points, and in the championship game, lit them up for 21 in the first half. She needs her flowers. Like Angel's deservedly so getting all the flowers. Jasmine needs some flowers too, because she really helped pull away from Iowa, and they wound up just holding on to their lead in the second half.
Yeah, and it's just dope to see like women's basketball and people like surrounding it, and like that is just really, really good to see that people see that the games are just as good, they can be just as exciting, you know, that type of thing. So it's good to see.
I mean, every moment of this tournament by far was 10 times better than the men's. I never, and it was so funny because we were talking about it a few episodes ago, and Buff's like, no, I don't watch college
basketball. Yeah.
And now, like,
and I still don't. I did watch that game though. I still don't.
But I watched several women's games, like the Elite Eight, the Final Four, like they were balling. Like it came down to the wire. Those ladies played hard, you know.
But my stance is people do support women's sports when it's good.
Yeah,
it was good.
That's it.
That's why I got supported.
Mm-hmm.
If you build it and you make it entertaining, and I mean, part of it you got to. Sports have to be entertaining. You have to have a good guy and a bad guy. Honestly.
So was Caitlin? Is she the bad guy or is Angel the bad guy?
Depends. It doesn't matter. It didn't. You got to give somebody. You got to give somebody to root for, and the other team to like cheer for. So think about the closest thing I can compare this to in my lifetime, and I was a kid when this was Bird and Magic. Yeah. That's what I kept feeling. Like it was, for one, you know, you had people who were just like, she's the best thing ever, you know, and she can't be beat. They can't be beat. And the team went out and beat them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Caitlin is probably the better individual basketball player.
She's definitely better. But
it's just that LSU had the better team.
Yeah. But that's the thing about think about Bird going in, like, Bird was supposed to be the superior player, did all this stuff, and he lost in the NCAA championship to Magic.
Yep.
You know, Magic went and then Bird went in, got Rookie of the Year. Like it was all this stuff. It was this big. I wish both of them were going to WNBA this year.
Yeah.
Like if they were both,
the WNBA does too.
If they were
why won't they? Like
she doesn't meet the qualifications. I think she has to be 21 the year, or 21 or 22 the year going into. So she doesn't meet it. So like they're, you know, I think they're both juniors, but the chances of them having the same level of competition, if this is a back-to-back, if they meet again in the finals, bro. Bro, but this is what the WNBA needed. This is what, you know.
And this is shout out to what is it, Title 10, where you had to have
Title
the equal.
9,
is it Title 9? Which title? Whichever one it is, that said that women's sports had to get equal or, you know, or a proportionate amount of funding and everything. It's we're getting to the level of basketball that they're playing because of that, because they were starting to get more funding, because they were getting facilities access, because of all of that. Now you're seeing that the women could play just as good. It's just that they just didn't have the facilities. I think we talked about when we talk about the trans episode, women just weren't getting the support all the way through from elementary all the way up. So there was going to be this gap, right? This natural gap that started being created by that. Now, we can talk about, the physicality of it and guys being a little stronger naturally, that type of thing. When you talk about skill levels and stuff, there's going to be, the gap shouldn't be that wide is probably the best way to put it.
I mean, I think they have a chance to market. The talent level in the 70s and 80s and 60s weren't that good for him. It's about, can you market it? Can you build something the audience is going to appreciate? And I think if they can capitalize off of this, run with this, they got some dynamic young female athletes coming in. One just signed she's the first high schooler to get an NIL deal with the Jordan brand. She's coming to college next year. I think she might be going to USC or something like that. If they can start getting these women athletes that people want to support, get behind, they can make them interesting, get some, good guy, bad guy stuff. Because they say Magic and Bird revitalized the NBA. Mm-hmm. That whole rivalry. If they can capitalize off of this and the hype, they live up to the hype. Dude, if you have Reese Caitlin 2 this time next year, the men's tournament will be an afterthought. I don't think the men's tournament will compete with that type of hype.
I think South Carolina versus LSU would have been just as good too.
Yeah,
like
the game would be, but the marketing, no. Because
the marketing,
that would have been a great game, but you wouldn't have had this like, damn, who this little white girl? Like that's sort of like everybody wanted to figure out who this Caitlin was. Like, who the hell is this chick that's putting up 40? She put up 41 a game, a 40-point triple double. Like these are things that were unheard of. So,
Shorty can ball.
And
Angel told Jill Biden, "Nah, we get it."
Yeah,
that was also crazy. It was the fact that And Caitlyn, though, lady. Again, going back to the kind of, I think that was really good. Caitlyn went and defended Angel. She's like, y'all need to get off her. I mean, this is competition. What are y'all talking about? When everybody was like, Angel was like, being unsportsmanlike and everything. Caitlyn's like, that's part of the game. That's trash talking. We're both competitors. And she declined Jill too. Like, no, this isn't our time. We lost. Yeah, the losers don't go. Losers don't go. That ain't what we do. And so I like that she's taking kind of the high road and kind of going back to that marketability of it all, right? I think that's really, really good for the sport and for them.
America loves to come to a white woman's defense. She ain't even asked for any of that. Yeah. And we got Angel getting called classless and all kind of things like that. She ain't asked for any of that.
Oh, that's what they said in the paper. There's some dark web pages that they called it a lot worse than that.
Yeah. That's true.
But I mean, at the same time, let's be honest, you had black people who were just instantly mad at Caitlyn as well. Like when they started, like on this side of the train track, people just became anti Caitlyn. She like, I ain't even do nothing. Like it's like if she wouldn't have said anything, black people didn't rock with her.
It's still some black people that don't
rock with her. Like, she did nothing. She did nothing. If she was a sane person, same personality, same persona, but she was black and killing like that, it would have been all good. But it is what it is. That's that 12% racism I was talking about. you just automatically root for everybody black. Like, who'd you root for in the LSU versus Iowa game? You rooted for LSU? Why? Are you an LSU fan? Nah.
But they pre-gamed the Bootsy, so hey, I'm on it.
Your choice in team might be considered a little bit racist, but that's only 2%, so you're good. If you can be under 15% racist daily, you're good. So that's all I ask for.
That turns into a whole other question.
It's dead. Sorry.
Once again, 3 Brothers No Sense. 6 Rules of Podcast. Check us out. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.